Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how you can sync the important transaction dates you have in Brokermint to your Google Calendar automatically so that all those important tasks and dates you have coming up will automatically get created on your Google Calendar. They'll be in front of you. You'll be able to see what's coming up and know when things are due. It's super easy to set this up. Let me show you how. The first thing you're going to do is log into Brokermint, and you're going to come over here to Add-Ons and click on that. You're going to see a ton of different connections you can set up with Brokermint, different apps you can connect. And we've created quite a few of these at API Nation, including Google Sheets, Google Drive, MailChimp, and here we go, the Google Calendar. I'm going to go ahead and connect that. So I'll click that button, and I'm going to click this button up here. It may say configuration, it may say setup, depending on what your status is. So I'll click that button, and it's going to take me out to API Nation to connect. The first thing it's going to do is ask me for my Google account, the one I want to connect. So I'll go ahead and choose that. And then I'll click this button here, activate this sync. There's just a few configuration options to get it activated. First, it's going to ask, all right, how far back do you want us to go? By default, we go about 8 days. It's about a week. So you can leave it like that if you'd like. And then you can go ahead and choose exactly which dates you want coming over. Listing date, expiration date, acceptance date, closing date, and custom dates. Totally up to you. You can check or uncheck as many of these as you'd like. Maybe you only want to do closing dates. Let's do that. And then you can choose, do I want only the ones that are assigned to me, only the transactions that are assigned to me, or do I want the transactions assigned to everybody? And finally, do I want to add anybody to these calendar invites? So example, when I sync the closing date from Brokermint to my Google Calendar, maybe I want to also invite every other user who's attached to the transaction or every user in contact who's attached. I'm going to go with none for now. Finally, as we come on down here to what it's going to look like in Google Calendar, it's going to ask if I want to use the time. Totally up to you. You can get a little bit more information here. And then the title for the events are going to be the transaction date type, and then the property address. You can also choose to add the location. So you can hit this drop down and add the property address as the location of the event. And the description is going to come across as property address, contact role, contact name, contact phone, contact email. If you want to remove any of this information, you can just uncheck the box. Maybe you don't want contacts information in there. You just want the property address. You can just remove all that stuff right there. I actually want it in there. I find it pretty helpful, so I'm going to leave it all in. This looks good. I'm going to go to the top and activate the sync. Also, one thing to notice up here in the top right corner, it's syncing every 8 hours. So if you change something in Brokermint, it could take about 8 hours to sync to Google Calendar. If you want to change that, just click on this 8 hours and you can dial it back to 1 hour, 30 minutes, up to you. We find 8 hours syncing about 3 times a day is enough for most people, but if you got a lot going on, go ahead and change this down. I'm going to go ahead and activate this sync. There we go. That's what we want to see. The sync is now running. So now let's go take a look. Here is my calendar, and I'm going to hop into Brokermint and add a closing date. So I have an example transaction here on Quince Street. I'm just going to go ahead and change the closing date to this upcoming Thursday. Closing date, let's go to March 9th and save. There we go. Now we should see once the sync runs, like I said, once every 8 hours, or if you've dialed it down to about every 30 minutes or an hour. Once that sync runs, you can hop into your Google Calendar, check it out. There it is right there, closing date, 3040 Quince Street, San Diego, California. There's that information and who owns the transaction, everything I need to know. So that's it. That's how you can sync Brokermint transactions to Google Calendars. It's going to help you plan, stay on top of things, know when things are due, and be more productive. If you have any questions or need any assistance setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation, and we're connecting the world's applications.